beautiful day headed your way. Keep your head up, up, up. You'll be okay. A beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes, you'll see it's true. Good times, sunshine, gonna be here in no time now. Bad times, gray skies, push them all away, turn them upside down. You're gonna break new ground.
Alright, welcome back to the Booga Box live stream. Oh, weird. Guess I'm gonna have to turn volume down somewhere. I'm hearing double voice. I had a few changes, so it's Monday night, medium project night. I'll give it a second here, and I'll go turn down the volume. I think it's on my desktop. Sounds really weird. When I talk a little louder, I can hear it. I might be a little louder tonight. Just because when I rehooked up my cameras and stuff, I kind of did some changes. So hopefully they'll come out okay. But it's medium project night, so we're working on the Purple Moon. I ended up making some big changes from last Monday. I ended up pulling out what I had. After I started doing the bottom half, I wasn't liking it. Normally when I do a full circle, I go around the outside all the way, get it nice and tight, and then work my way in. I thought it would be different with this because of being moon and not full circle, but I ended up kind of going back to that route. So that's what I'm currently working on. This was about the time I was roughly about an hour on the stream last Monday, so I spent about an hour getting this part redone after I took out the other stuff, just so I kind of had an hour into it. I was wanting to do some more, but was busy getting everything else done, trying to get some website work done and all that. So real quick, I'm going to turn down some volume. Alright, that should help. Yeah, my desktop volume was a little louder than usual, so I could hear myself. Shrinking rings help with the silly shape adaptation. Yeah, so I started with 3/8. I'm on 5/16 now, then I'm going to go to a quarter. These are all square. I don't have anything between a quarter and 3/16, which is what I'm using for my connectors. So I'm not sure once I get into this part. We're going to kind of see how much we have left once I get that part done, and then kind of rotate into there and see how that works. Setting up to work. Gotta clean up some space first. Cool, John. Good to have you here. So, real quick before I get into it, I ended up getting in my handcuff clasps. Like I said last week, I ordered these about 3 weeks ago or so, and I've been waiting a while. Finally got them in. I found it kind of funny that I'd already ordered these, and then I see TRL come out with these too. So, but they're kind of neat clasps. Stainless steel, kind of work like a handcuff. So I tested it. I think my holes are a little bit bigger actually, because on theirs they say they can only fit 18 gauge, and this is a 16 gauge ring through it. So I got a bunch of those. I got a little over 100 of them. So I'm going to have some projects that I already plan on doing it, and then I'm going to also sell these too. I'm going to add them to the website hopefully here this week. Little triangle across the middle, then fill. Yeah, like I said, I'm not quite sure yet till I get a little further into it. We're going to kind of see how it plays out. But let's go ahead and get started here. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It was kind of a not too bad of a weekend actually. Let me close this one. Today though, it is a hot little mother out there, I'll say that. We got up to like 97 today with a heat index of 109, I think was the highest I've seen it. Could have been a little higher at some point and I just didn't catch it. But it's hot out there today for sure. And it's supposed to be hotter tomorrow and Wednesday, and it's like, ugh. Gotta wait till the weekend to get nice. Tired of this. I'm ready for the winter. Or late fall. You give me that 40-50 degree weather, that's when I thrive outside. I wish the camping places were open then. I want to do some camping, but it's been too hot. Most of them seem to close up around October earliest. There's some, but they're further away. They'll stay open during the winter, but I'd much rather go camping during that time. I remember going as a kid, going camping in South Dakota. It was not early spring or anything, but I remember waking up one night to snow the next morning. It was like, this is great. Now it melted off, after a couple hours in the morning, but it was still nice. So hopefully nobody else had super hot weather for you and you had a good weekend. We'll say we hadn't had much rain, so there hadn't been much lawn to mow, which I guess is kind of nice in a way. But I'm definitely ready for fall. Yeah, fall weather any day. What do they call it? The Han Solo season. I mean, I don't go around in jackets and boots, but that's the weather that I like. But we're just going to continue working this up. And like I said, we're just kind of play around once I get a little further in here. So far, this has been working out pretty well this way. Probably have to make a little bit of adjustments, like up over here. I had to add one larger ring in to start with, because it was, when I put in a smaller one here, I just couldn't reach it down to here, so I ended up putting in one larger. We might have to down here too. Kind of depends on what happens by the time we get there. See how tight we get going. I might put it in a temporary center to kind of pull everything tight from here into the middle. Just to give me a better idea how much room I'm going to have up there. So we'll kind of see, like I said, once I get a little further into it. What else has really been going on? Not too much, really. Been doing a lot of stuff around the house, and the hot weather keeps me from outside, but I will say, probably doesn't help that it was about 3 weeks ago or so. The wife was like, looked at me one day and she's like, you know what, you've never had a beard. We've been together since high school. And she was, I want to see you grow a beard. And I was like, no. I was like, alright. So I'm kind of growing a beard now. It's a very weird feeling. I normally barely go, I don't fully shave with like a razor, but I'll use clippers and shave down as much as I can, mostly about every 3-4 days at the most. Sometimes I'd go a week depending, but I'm going on 3 weeks now of growing this out, and it's a little crazy feeling for sure. But I'm so old now. It grows in completely white. It's like, I was like, if you give me a Santa hat, I'd have a Santa starter kit going on here. I mean, right now, my beard and hair on my beard is longer than the hair on my head, because I had her shave that for me a couple weeks ago. Actually, I guess the week before we went to our event, the last event there. It was like, I don't want to be melting out there. My 6-year-old's never seen me without a beard. Yeah. Oh, that was actually during the event. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she showed up with all her kids, and Aria, the third one in line, I guess she's coming up on 2. She did not recognize me at all, because it was already getting pretty thick there. It took her a few minutes, and I had to go over to her and I talked to her, and then once I talked to her, she realized who I was. It was definitely weird looking. I mean, every time I walk by her mirror, I stop for a second and take a double take, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. Like I said, I got normally some scruff, never really a beard. And so I told the wife I'd give it a little bit and see what happens, and I'd let it grow out for a month and maybe trim up and clean it up and see what happens with it. go from there. But now I'm wishing I would have waited till the end of October. I've never had my chin sweat. that was a weird feeling. Normally you'll sweat and it'll roll down your head to your chin, not start at your chin and drip off. That was a little strange when that first happened. Hopefully everything's going good here. I haven't really looked. Oh, I changed up how my OBS is. Where's my list of how long I've been going? Why don't I see that anywhere now? That's weird. I wonder where I was looking before to see how long I've been going. Let me check something real quick here. Where'd my mouse pointer go? There it is. Well, maybe I'll just use that as... Well, that's not it. Well, yeah, I'm not sure where I can find how long I've been going. Oh, there it is. Okay. Like I said, I kind of changed up my OBS system. Actually, Friday when I did the band event, I had a camera go out on me. And, I mean, in all reality, I thought this camera was going to be dead years ago. It was probably 4-ish, 5-ish years ago. Had it up on a tripod and was filming the band coming down a hill towards a football field one day. And it was a little windy that day. And, you know, I'm normally running 3 or 4 cameras, so I set up one on tripod down there and went up to the top of the hill area so I could get them as they were coming across the back side of the field, or I guess the front side, where you normally come in to go watch the game. And it's kind of up on a hill, and so I put the camera on the tripod, put it down there, and I went up there and was filming. And when they passed me, I normally follow them down, get to the other camera, turn it while they do pregame. And it was laying on the ground sideways in parts. And so I ended up putting it back together, and it still kicked along. But this past Friday when I was out there, I hooked it up, pushed record, and it was giving me data errors. And I was like, oh, great. So then I finally looked at it over the weekend, and it's just not going to record anymore. So I was kind of doing some testing and playing, and I did find out that I'm actually using it as my main camera up here. Since I'm not recording, I'm just going through the HDMI of it. It seems to be working fine for that fact. So I guess I can keep that camera up there. And oh, thank you, John. 11 minutes. I finally found it. So I figure, you know, if it's going to work for the stream, I'll still be able to use the camera. I won't have to worry about unhooking it to go to events. I'm down one camera for events, but you know, it is what it is. And actually changed out my side camera over here. I had another camera I got a couple years ago from somebody I knew online. Doesn't have as many options, but it's newer than my current cameras. And I was like, the only reason I really haven't used it for events is because the battery, my big Sonys here that I use, I got big old giant batteries in it. I can record for almost 8 hours. I normally end up running out of disk space on my card before the battery goes out. Plugs in, they just kind of slide up in the back area, and it makes the camera twice as long practically, but I get a lot more time on them. And this one has it's not internal, but it's got a little case that opens up the bottom. You push a little battery in, so you can't really get any bigger batteries for it. And so I haven't really used it in events because they're almost as bad as my Pros. I only get about 50-ish minutes or so in them before the battery's dead. And there are some times where I'm doing a lot of time-lapse stuff where, you know, I'm recording for 3-4 hours straight. And so I was like, you know, I'm really not using that much. So I started looking at it, see if I could hook it up as a webcam. And so I hooked that up and got that done yesterday. And it seems to be doing okay. Hopefully the views are coming out okay with the... Ended up having to pull out everything and rewired everything again. But, because for some reason, I did change my upper camera here also. The other one was giving me weird shadows that I wasn't really caring for, and it had a light on it, but no matter where I set the light, it really didn't change it. So I wanted to try this other one that I had, and I'll watch a video later and see how it does, but so far I'm kind of liking it better. I'm able to move it back a little further, but when I did that, it made my microphone go all wonky, and it would my other microphone just wasn't picking up. It had this weird constant loud hum going on, and as soon as I unplugged the web camera, it would be fine. So I figured it was like, if I'm gonna get it to work, I'm gonna probably have to rewire. So I pulled everything out, pulled all the wires out, tested everything up. Once it started working, and then I put it through ran the wires back to where they needed to go. So things are kind of the same, but here they're definitely different. Hopefully they come looking alright through there. I'm going to set up some more things within my OBS so I can switch some more cameras around and different viewing angles at times. I'm trying to set it up where it'll do it on its own, where we start like in this view and then it'll rotate between the camera views as the main view. Trying to set it up to automatically do it. I can manually do it, but I'll probably forget. So I was like, I want to have those views that I can manually change anyway. If I want to show something more from the side camera because it's going to hang up, I would like it to become the main screen. So I want to have it manually done, but I also want it to kind of automatically change. Maybe every 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it'll flip over, show from a different angle for a while. Trying to get that figured out. I spent a little while yesterday trying to work on that. Getting all the cameras set up, and I hadn't tested again before football season started, or band season for football. So Friday was the first test of that. Found some issues that I needed to deal with, so I took care of that too on Saturday. So mostly it was video equipment weekend for me. I didn't get much chainmail done. I think I got a line or a little more than a line done in the checkerboard, chessboard. And then I got, I don't know, I probably got in maybe 100 rings or so on the jelly cube. Every time I'd kind of take a break to do it, then I'd end up just working on some other stuff and getting other things caught up. And I'm going to spend one of these weekends getting the website done, because there's many things products I need to add to it. And then I'm going to start trying to sell some supplies per se. That's why I've been looking at class for the last month or so, trying to get a variety for me, one, and two, that I can have for selling purposes. I have been asked about some of that stuff before, and I normally don't have a whole lot of class variety for people to choose from, so I wanted to kind of up that a little bit, because people ask me, and I'm willing to put on other classes if somebody wants them. Just can take me a little bit to get them. And then price-wise, it kind of depends on what they're wanting. Those smaller quantities, when you're only getting one or two, cost a lot more than if you get a couple hundred at a time. So, what is that? My other screen here, there. Well, no, it's still, maybe that'll work. Kept flipping at me. And, there we got that one. Kept showing me a play button and stuff at the bottom. I guess my mouse pointer was just in the wrong spot, and it kept flashing at me and making me want to look up there at it, which I guess is a good thing, to make sure I'm not getting any posts or comments. Check my other ones real quick, make sure that I'm not missing any comments. That's the next thing to do, is try to get everything into one screen, so I can just be perfect if I could have it like just above the back camera, but out of view of the top camera, like right there, would be perfect. One day. If I keep growing and doing, then maybe. Well, eventually I want to have a whole different desk area that I can work on for doing live streaming anyway. That's the ultimate goal. Alright, bring me on the this last one here, and we'll have to kind of play and see what kind of ring I want to throw in there. Actually, let me see, can I adjust this one up just a bit? Maybe that'll give me a better view on that one. Alright, let's see here. Actually, another... Hell no. Hey, that'll be too big. Let me see if a 1/4 inch will work it out in there. That might be the one I need to go with. Oh, these are 18. 16. How does it feel? Let me check here. I guess they are. I guess it's just because I've been working with bigger rings, it doesn't feel like 16G. I guess I gotta close it, dummy. Dummy. I have a 55 inch and two 45 inch for my setup. Yeah, I'm actually, my Facebook version, I use this littler laptop. I think it's like an 11 inch laptop for my posts and comments on Facebook. And then I'm using, I think it's a 39 inch, 38 inch TV on the other side of me. It does okay. I'd definitely like to have something bigger in a way, but I just don't have the space for it right now. But if I could get me like a 12, maybe a 13 inch that I could probably hang from the top of here, and it would stay above this camera and have the view of that camera, would be the best thing. So all I have to do is just casually look up instead of left, right, left, right. Oh, it's already on there. I think that's the biggest problem right now. Then try to just get everything onto one page, and again, one day it will happen, I think, I hope. That's the plan anyway. Alright, let's see here. I can connect there. So I guess the next goal was to connect to the frame. Oh yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Then I can just go through and start back up at the top and do some 1/4 inch around. And then we'll kind of play from there. Like I said, I don't know, maybe I can go back out bigger, but I'm getting sort of in, so that might be more difficult. I wish I did have probably 2 more sizes of square rings. I was going to use round, but my purples are so drastic when it comes to the round compared to the square. I was afraid I was going to throw it off because I don't know if you can tell the difference on the camera, but even between these 2 square types there, I mean, these are really deep purple, and then these are more of a lighter purple. And that's just how they've changed over time. And my round ones are more dark purple than my square ones are, so I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to, I mean, it could look okay by mixing them, but I'm trying to keep it somewhat, I guess not symmetrical, but the basics all the same. Iron Man, how does Furry see all these screens? He turns, so in yeah. And I'm constantly gotta look up, look left for Facebook, and then I gotta make a good turn to get to the other side over here. At least the laptop is kind of at a 45-degree angle. The other one's at a complete, more of a 100-degree angle to actually see it. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna probably start in the middle-ish and work my way from here going up to see where I need to do a connecting. Get out of my way. I need a different size now. Oh. Yeah, I wish I had some 3/16 square 18 gauge, and that's what I need now. At least in a lighter color. You know, real quick, I need to pull out my box because I wonder if I am. More I keep playing with those square ones right there. I swear they are 18 gauge, not 16 gauge. I guess I could pull out the mic and test. Yeah, that's what I thought. These are my 16, these are my 18. They just didn't quite feel right. They looked right, but I could have just easily mic'd them up, but yeah, my mic is over here. But why? Huh. I wonder how I did that. Well, I'll have to change those out. Both these are kind of got different containers. One's got the 4 holes in it, the other one doesn't have any holes in it, so they're slightly different. And it doesn't want to fit quite right. So somehow I got my containers mixed up, probably when I was loading them up, and because I was out of them at one point, so must have been on a load up one day and didn't realize it. So, but yeah, these feel better. I thought those felt weird. I wonder if I should change that one out to a bigger gauge. You really can't tell too much being so small right down there, but think gaming setup is more my arrangement with a work desk in front versus normal coffee table. Yeah. Did I pull out the wrong ones again? Okay, there we go. It's like one of those days. Too hot to think. Yeah, I'd kind of like to get a setup like Sean had. He's got that nice big desk area, and he's got more front room, which I do have a bit more now. My next big issue is maybe I got a strip plug, 4-foot strip plug across the back of the table here. Wonder if I should move it up and mount it, and then I don't really need my pliers all that often, but there are occasions that this camera's in the way to do that. So I end up moving it to the side whenever I'm not streaming. So I might change that too. I'm not sure yet. But eventually, I would like to have a bigger area. If I could get the garage done and be able to put up a lot more stuff that's in here, I can get outside in the garage. Then I'd be able to. I'm kind of wondering, maybe I should do another row of 5/16, because that's going to be, because there's not a whole, yeah, maybe I should. Let's try that. I guess I'll try it. I'll work it around halfway, see what I think, and then it'll have more play in it. Come on, get off there. Overall, but I mean, right now it's got some droop, but I think the next row would make it fall fully straight down, and then being able to put a smaller one in there would tighten it all up. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Now that once I put that one in there, it's just like I think I'm going to really be stretching. I can probably get the first few, but then I'm going to really be wanting to pull. I think that's going to be too much of a pull for as big a round as this one is. I have 2 display cabinets from an old TV stand with glass doors for storage. Cool. And I've got all kinds of storage here, but just not much depth. I think my table length here is just a little bit over 2 feet deep, and then I'm basically at a pegboard wall there. So I really can't go any further. Right behind it's the wall. So, and then I've got storage on both sides and below, but I'd rather have a bigger desk. Alright. So let's try this again. And then be able to get me a nicer chair I can comfortably kick back in. This one I would normally use on a workbench is okay. And my desk chair is okay too. I mean, I've had this desk chair for what is it, about 20 years now. I've had to replace arms, the I guess it's a hydraulic thing from the middle. Let's go up and down. Had to replace my wheels, but I love the thing. I tried to get one chair again. It was probably about 8 years ago when I had my arms break on the current one, and I got it, and it's just not as big, not as comfy. So I ended up finding replacement parts for that chair. But I'd like to get a nicer chair to kind of kick back in, like I said. And have a desk that I can sit more apt in it, where I can kind of kick back more while I'm mailing. Here I have to kind of sit up more, especially during a stream, and my knees bend at an odd angle in a way to rest them on the bottom storage flat area, and so my knees kind of dig into my drawers, so I have to kind of sit wide in it. And it does okay, like I said, but I have an idea of what I'd like to eventually have, and one day it might happen. We hope. Everything kind of takes time. Alright, next one. And once I get about 5 or 6 into this, it'll probably start giving me a better idea of how it's going to work. A little tighter, that's why I'd like to get a little smaller and tighter as I get to the inside here. If I can work it out that way anyway. This way. That's the 2. So this one had to be right there. Yeah, I don't really want to switch back and forth, but that could probably work too. Go 5/16 quarter, 5/16 a quarter, and that would give me probably more room for spreading out. But like I said, I mean, I was working the other way and then totally took it apart and changed it. But that's what kind of happens when you're doing something that doesn't really have any kind of directions per se. So we'll just continue to go with it. If I don't like it, I'll pull it out and I'll redo it. That's kind of how I do most things. If I'm not digging it, I won't hesitate to stop and pull it out and start again. That's what I've done with most of my wall hangings over time. I mean, my clocks, they took me quite a while because I don't know how many times I'd pull something out of the clock. So I was like, I'm not liking that one, so change it up, come in a different direction with it until I got it to a point I liked. I still think they could be better. Every time I do another clock, I kind of learn something else, so I'm ready to do another one. I've got another idea I want to do for one. Just, most of the time I'm working on orders and making new weaves and bracelets and necklaces and all that, so. But that's one reason why I'm kind of like digging the stream. It's given me a reason to do bigger projects. Something a little different. Well, let me do a quick look over here. 30 minutes, 33 minutes in. Okay, let's see here. Because, yeah, that next row will probably be pretty decent enough where I'll have a lot less room and the 1/4 inch will work better. Almost need like a, what was it, a 9/32 square. I don't even know if they make those in color. That would be the next size I need to get, I guess. I've got 9/32 round wire, but I don't have it in square. I guess I'll have to look. I'm getting ready to, I need a few other colors. I think they have blue in now, so I can get on my next inlay Still gonna be a few weeks out, obviously, because I'm working on the checkerboard. Oh, that was weird. My screen went crappy and then come back. Showing I've got good upload, so well, let's keep going. I guess I did have a few little drops here and there. I finally found some areas within Facebook that gives me some stats on what they're getting. I don't get it through Twitch or YouTube, but you know. I need to fill out another application too. I think we're going to do the next event here in September 14th. I got another one I could possibly do on the 20th, and it's a 2-day event. I'm still debating if I want to do it because it's so close to this other one. It's not a huge event either, so it's like, do I want to put it off this year? So I'm still debating on that second one, but I think I'm going to do this August or September 14th one. And then the band stuff starts taking over, so I have to find the right one in October if I'm going to do it. But there's a place up here, a little small town that they do weekend things every weekend. Some weekends they have a bigger setup and a wine event type thing. And you can sign up for them and do a whole year's worth, once a month basically for the year. They have an event, and you can pay and get a lot cheaper if you sign up for the whole year. So it's like I'm about half tempted to do that one. I've known about it for several years. I've been putting it off just because so much other stuff was going on when the son was having his issues, the wife's having her own issues, so kind of put it off, but I'm thinking I need to get a good few years run and get into some of these things. The more I put it off, the older I get. Don't need to do that. I keep having to run a song. I know it's 50, but then I'm like, well, you know what? I know it's kind of a crazy thing to say, but basically half my life is over, because if I live to 100, that's still half. And I don't know if I'll live to 100. And nobody knows how long they're going to live, but it's like, I don't know if I want to, I'll push this as going out to events as much as I can, and then after that I'll just have to be only online, which will kind of blow, but, if I can get the grandkids into it, and they can kind of take it over, and I can go with them as they do all the hard stuff. Then maybe I could go longer, but yeah. Yeah, it was my dad's birthday last week, and I was like, man, we're actually 20 years apart, so he's turned 70, I turned 50. I was like, you're getting old man. I was like, so are you, old man. Alright, so I might have to actually connect onto the center now with this ring. Get on there. Give me a closure that I like. That's better. So yeah, I can probably go ahead and pull that one on into the edge. And I'll have a little gap, but I'll have a little gap there too, and the gap up there. I kind of was wondering, I might put in a 5/32 square rings in there. I'm not sure yet. I do have those. And 18 gauge, so oh yeah, I need to open this up further for that one. Let's see if we can get her connected here. Gonna be enough room. Let me drop the plier. Well, I mean, I do want it to be snug, so I guess it's a little looser than I actually thought it would be, so that's not too bad. Alright, and then we'll just work the other way, see what happens. Kind of giving me this effect that I've had on some of the others when I've done round ones before, how it flows down kind of like a basketball net, kind of comes into tapered. I've kind of wanted to see if I could make a tornado and use some different size rings on one side and the other side, and see if I could get it to kind of twist as it's coming down in a funnel shape. It's one thing I want to try one day. I keep thinking about it, I just haven't tried to sit down and do it yet. I think it could look cool, but again, who knows? Brain things don't always pan out great in real life. I've had several things that I've had to rearrange after thoughts, putting the thoughts out there, and it's like, well, it kind of works, but not how I want it. Some things totally didn't work, and it was like, oh, why did I even attempt that? It was so cool in my head, but it just ain't coming together in practice. And then some things just worked out great, better than you expected. Kind of how my chainions ended up working out. I was like working on the dice one day, and the chainion or the balls rolled together, and I was like, hey. And then had an idea, and I was like, well, they could look kind of neat, but then they ended up turning out a lot better than I was expecting them to turn out. So I need to sit down. I'm gonna get my center printed. I'm gonna use my 3D printed centers to do my wraparound on, and then do some superhero versions. They take about roughly about 3 hours to do. And some of it's kind of tinier work. We've got a lot of 1/8 inch rings to do in full Persian. And then I guess that's 5/32 20 gauge for the full Persian. Then I've got half Persian 3-in-1 and 1/8 gauge, or 1/8 inch rings, 20 gauge. So it can take a little while when you do 100 of those rings. John's probably used to it though. He's so used to working in his little stuff. Give me some 64th gauge. 1/32 size, and John would have a ball. Alright. And I did get a little more look into getting some background music going, but that's when I was starting looking at that. That's when I realized my mic wasn't working right, and I was going to have to make some changes. So I ended up having to give up looking and getting all that sorted beforehand. But I'm hoping I can get some time in tomorrow on that. But I will be spending some time tomorrow. I'm going to do a few test recordings of setting up for doing some anodizing on Wednesday. I don't exactly know how that's going to play out yet. I know I'm going to do some. I don't know how long we will necessarily stream on Wednesday yet. I know I will get at least my hour, but I don't know if I got an hour's worth of anodizing I can do. So I'm going to probably do some test anodizing tomorrow. See if the cameras are going to be in a good place to see it all, etc. And 300 micrometer diameter, 41G is my desire. Yeah, I would have to have that inside my eyeball to see. That'd be nice to do. Probably could have. I mean, I kind of did smaller stuff back in the day, but once I started doing the business side of it, it was like, that's cool, but you know, I already got some pieces now that are, you know, a couple $100 that, you know, it takes a while to sell that stuff. So I try to mix it up, have some medium price stuff, some lower price stuff, and then some higher price stuff. I mean, just some of the bigger higher price stuff is more just the time that it takes to do. Like the jersey, if I would have done it in bigger rings, and you would have had less of the graphic wouldn't have been as, I mean, it's still kind of blocky-ish, But if I would have went with bigger rings, it would have changed that, where it would have been even worse and harder to make out. But it would have taken a lot less time. So there's always a trade-off. Less time, bigger rings, more time, smaller rings. Which way do I want to go? Try to find that happy medium and go with it. Making stuff pushing over 2K for some items and want to keep going higher. Gems full, gems full, silver welded, more ring count. Yeah. And, you know, that's why I want to have some of those things. And I also want to have it, you know, where there's some stuff that's a little less expensive that if people like. And like I said, I'd probably undercharge for some of my stuff. But I'd rather it be more reasonable and keep me going. You know, make a little bit of profit. But I do have to make a living, so I can't go too far down. But like I said, my prices I haven't changed in 2 years, and I don't price at minimum wage, but if minimum wage goes up, I normally raise up a little bit, and I haven't done that. So I will be making a change in my pricing here pretty soon. It's going to be at the time when I can get the website work done. But then that's also got to reprice everything that's in current stock for when we go to events, so that's always a big chore in itself too. I mean, we didn't count, but I had 500-ish pieces, maybe close to 600-ish pieces. At the last event, I actually didn't even put out half of the stuff I had. I didn't want it to be too cluttered, so I tried to mix up the weaves and different weaves and get them out there. And then I actually did pull it out at times when somebody found something they liked and was like, hey, do you have this and this kind of color and stuff? And I'd pull out the box, and, you know, a couple different times we did have it, so that worked out kind of nice. Others didn't, so custom order. 12G clip cut stainless, 40, 12G welded argentium, 1200 argentium, yeah, oh yeah. Definitely go up there when you get the welding time involved in all that. Even stainless welded will bring up the price on some things. I had a Mem 100 knives on my table last time I did events, and about 30 pounds of mail and 22G. Yeah. So I do want to keep adding more, but I have to, you know, I don't want to get too cluttered in my events. But I don't even have, like I said, I probably got an eighth of what I actually have on the website, and that's why I had more. But when I upgraded the website not too long ago, about half the stuff at that point in time that I had wouldn't transfer over the way it should have, and things were going wrong with it. So I was like, all right. So if I had a bad one, I'd just skip it for then. And so now I've got to go back and go do manually. And like I said, it can take a good hour almost per item to get them into the website if you want to list everything in there, because then you got to weigh everything. And I kind of got away from doing the weighing just to get stuff on there. But there, you know, several pages worth of stuff you have to go through to give them the numbers, get your pictures uploaded, the description, and, you know, it can take a while to do web work. I enjoy it in a way, but it takes away from the mailing, and that's where I have my bigger problem. It's like I could be sitting here working on this website and getting more things, but I could also be sitting there and doing chainmail. Chainmail ends up winning out most of the time. I'll be like, I would rather. I sell far more blades than mail. Yeah, I could probably see that though. We used to have it at the Renaissance Festival. I mean, there for years I didn't go, but here over the last 10, we pretty much hit every one of them. And they used to have quite a few blade shops in there, but they kind of disappeared. I'm not sure they just weren't making what they needed to, or, you know, a lot of events have the rules about weaponry and stuff like that. So then it's harder to find some of those events. But I guess it just depends on what kind of event you're trying to get them into. But I liked going into there. I never bought anything, which I do feel kind of bad about in a way. It's just, you know, they were pretty pricey, but, and I mean, that was years ago. Now it'd be a little different. I know my son's more into knives. I think he enjoyed that when he went a few years ago, but like I said, all the places kind of disappeared here the last couple seasons, and just been less of the swords and knives to see. The wooden swords took over for kids. There used to be just one shop that did that, and now there's like 5 shops that have the wooden swords for the kids and stuff, and it's like, but I mean, that's all good. Kids need their stuff too, but local laws are cracking down. Yeah, that's kind of what I was figuring, everything weapon related has to have more regulations with it, so that's, I was hoping that was more the reason than they just weren't making sales, because they always had people there and I'd always see people getting stuff, but then you buy something, you're walking around with a weapon anymore. He's got a sword, call the cops. I guess you're probably fine at the Renaissance Festival per se, but when you get done and you're heading out, but I mean, it's all just part of the experience there, guys. Come on. Nothing crazy's went on. I guess maybe they have had craziness at other places, but haven't heard about it here. They have $20 boot knives, belt knives to 6,400 Damascus gem inlaid little scabbards. I like the Damascus look. Whenever they got to do that on that Forged in Fire, I always get a kick out of how they do that. Again, one day I would like to kind of find somebody that's close. If you're closer, John, I'd be over there and watch you do some knives. But I'd like to see it in person and kind of, maybe not learn enough to do my own, which would be cool too, but just to kind of see the process, help along in the process, I think would be fun. Like I said, I like trying new and different things like that, just to kind of have, not the total skills to do it, but got the basic ideas of how to do it. TV gives you some of that, but it's not the same when you're not there. Because I know it's hard work, but I'm sure it's much harder than I think it is. TVs fly through everything and really don't show you the nuts and bolts of everything that they're doing. Cane maces are a great sell these days, just saying. Better than a cane sword. Nothing like a solid broken turned cane. Tradition is hard and dirty in days. Power tools make a few hours with bought good steel. Yeah. And that's why I'd like to, and I'm sure when on these TV shows, when they do all these things, that they cut all the other parts out. You just see a few minutes here, a few minutes there, a few minutes here, a few minutes there. And it's like, and then they have a time limit. And some of their swords obviously don't turn out all that great because of the time limit. So I'd like to see a full one being done, how much work it actually takes to make a good one, and not have to rush to a time limit that these shows kind of have you on. That's what I think would be kind of fun to just see. And I would probably talk to the people at the Renaissance Festival if they were there anymore and say, hey, where you all at? Can I'd like to learn a little bit of this, and I mean, not enough to become a business with it per se, but just to know it, just to have fun. I mean, that's kind of how my chainmail started, but that would take a lot more home equipment that I'd have to get, and if I was in my 30s, maybe, but not now. Somebody else can have the equipment, and I can come over and play. Forged in Fire says drama show. Most contestants are not even told what machines they can use, and the shop is uses in the shop in early episode. Yeah, and that's what I'm like. They always kind of changed up. You got time limits on everything. That's why it'd be nice to just be able to go to a place where they could take their time. They have a plan. They know what they're going to use. When you go on like that type of show, some people have never done the coal-fired forges and stuff like that, and So they just don't know what they're almost in a way doing. And that's why I'd like to find somebody that does it and takes their time. I mean, they want to work good and quick like everybody does, but not where you're like on that show where I think everybody's just so rushed. They don't really get a time to really think about anything, and that's why I think it'd be funner just to find somebody with a forge and does that work that you can just kind of hang out with. I'd say drink some beers, but I'm not a beer drinker, but I still like to hang out and with people that drink beer and have a good time that way. Alright, need some more square. I'm getting a little light on the squares. I guess I'm using quite a few of them here. Everyone's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going through it. So I guess it's a 6-in-1 Japanese weave for the most part. I start with a soup can propane torch, a mason hammer, make nail knives into wood carving knives, until I got a Tony key. I made a bed of burner. Now, where'd it go? It moved up on me. And now I made a better burner. Now I have a 2/3 and a 100-pound propane tank dual burner. I love to cook. Bring the meat and the forge can be played with for entertainment. Yeah, well, that's kind of what we used to do when I would hang out with friends. We'd go over and have a smoking weekend, a smoking night, and go over there early and just kind of hang out. I mean, they would do their beer drinking and stuff, but I still hung out with them and cooked, and then just kind of played around, did different things here and there. So that's always fun. That's what I'd like to find somebody that could do that and do some forging just to have a good time. Don't have all those times out too much anymore with everybody being all locked down. And like I said, one of my good friends that I used to hang out with and go cooking, smoking with, he just had his kidney transplant. So, and then with COVID, he's kind of wanted to kind of keep away from a lot of things, and I get it. I mean, some people are more open to going and doing stuff, others aren't so much, and so that has kind of blown the past year and a half-ish or so. But I haven't even pulled out our smoker yet this year. It's like, I want to. I love smoking me up some meats. And tell you what, though, I love smoking hamburgers. I know that sounds a little strange, but I do like doing the briskets and all that stuff. Those are good too, but good smoked hamburger to me, oh man, there ain't nothing like it. Normally when I do that, I end up doing a couple dozen burgers. I have something to eat the next several days. Seems like it gets better every day with age. Then we did some cold smoking with the boy last year. Son, he wanted to do some smoked cheeses, so we did some cold smoked cheese. A little different doing that, but turned out pretty good actually. First time I'd done it. Would like to do some more, just haven't really pulled it out. Got so busy with so many other things, and again with orders, which I gotta thank anybody who's watching. Let me check one of my other sets over here. Thanks for all the orders. It's been keeping me busy for sure. Let's see, I guess we're probably gonna have to go to a small one here too. So that's kind of kept me away from doing it in a way, and then it just got too darn hot. But I'm ready to get out there and do some more smoking. I kind of missed it. Oh, gotta scroll back a little bit here. I think I missed several. Oh, come on, mouse. Alright. This mouse always wakes up good. Okay, got the meat in, love to cook, bring the meat. Okay, got that one. Drill press, forge lathe, hard lift, compressor, air tools. Got a decent shop shaping up. Yeah, sounds like it. I like to have about half of it, and I'd be alright. Tomatoes got black from too much water, but snap peas by the bushel, sweet. Applewood smoked turkey stuffed. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got several. I end up finding some local places here that I got some applewood out there. I got pecan. What else do I got? I've got 4 different kinds of. What do I do with that? Oh, here it is. Of wood to smoke with. I got quite a bit last year, and it just since I haven't smoked this year, it's just all kind of sitting there ready to use. I like using the real wood. I know my half brother, he's got him one of those Kriegers that uses the pellets, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of a nice setup and everything, but I don't know. I like the personal hands-on stuff when you just kind of put the meat in there and it's got timers to feed the wood. Really don't have to check the temperatures and all that. You know, I like it the older school way, I guess. If that's what you want to call it. He just loads up the hopper with the pellets, sets the temperature, and it kind of does its own thing. I'm like, this is weird. I'm used to have to check on it, you know, every 30ish or so minutes, seeing where things are going. I mean, I do have my own electronic. Get out of the way here, fly. How did you even get in here today? I kept the door closed. That has a Bluetooth built into my phone to let me know temperature, so I can constantly check that. But yeah, I still have to manually go out there and kind of move around the wood and keep the fire going at a certain rate. My mother has mint, chocolate mint, apple mint, spearmint, amazing with porks and lambs. Oh, I bet. That'd be great to have all that too. Most of this stuff is stuff that I can get local. The people that I've used, they kind of go around town and do the cutting down for people, and they get to keep it and separate it, and then get it, you know, give it its time to. Did I just screw that ring up? Yeah, I did. I snipped the ring. But then, you know, I'll call them up. I need this many pounds of this and stuff, and they just bring it on out here. Alright, you stupid little freaking fly. He must have got in want to let the cats out before the stream, and hadn't bugged me up till now. Now he's just everywhere over here. Every day it seems like there's one that I have to fight. But I guess that's what you get with having cats and opening and closing the door constantly. Other than they hadn't really today because it was hot, so I tried to keep them in most of the day. They were finally begging me around 7. We want out now. I was like, alright, I'll let you out at stream time, but you're going to stay out till after stream. And nobody's clawed at the door yet, so they must be happy with it. Let's see here. That'll pull up tighter there, so there's that row. So now I think we're going to go ahead and move into the 1/4 inch. Yeah. I think it'll work better now. Everything's got a little more play and stuff in it, so. So I use that smoker a lot. Beats of it, oh yeah. You can go through quite a bit quickly. When we first got smoker 3 years ago, I got some, but I didn't realize how much wood I was going to go through to fully get something done when you're smoking for. My burgers normally take me a good 6 hours of smoke to get them cooked up, and then when you're doing, like, we had a big old butt in there one day, that took us, I think, about 18 hours of smoking to get it where I wanted, and I didn't realize it was going to take that much wood. And then after that I realized, so I try to make sure I get enough of anything anymore. She can't kill it. Took over her garden, and you can see the mint colors fighting. When you turn them back, man, like have a mouthwash. Yeah, I can imagine. I'd love to get me a little garden again. Did when I was a kid. Actually, I did we had a lot of extra space in high school in this one house we had, in early high school before we moved in. My stepdad had all his insulin and diabetes problems. I had a garden up to, I guess that would have been my sophomore year, was last year I had a garden. And then we lived in a townhouse for years, and since we moved here I keep thinking about it, but I just never have gone out and just done it yet. I do have a tiller now. It needs some work. I got it for free because it wouldn't run, but it just needs some TLC. I'm sure of that. So I got that, and I got plenty of room where I could put up a nice little garden, but because there's several people around us that have it here, because we only got about 1/3 of an acre, I think. It's not huge, but you know, there's plenty enough room where I could do it. And I'm not a huge veggie person, but I love growing them. But I know, you know, the wife would love to have some cucumbers and tomatoes, and I know the daughter. Well, give me green beans. I like green beans and peas. Those are, and I know some people hate it, but I get a kick out of lima beans. I don't know why. Buttered lima beans to me are just yummy. I know they're dry, but I don't know. Kind of like, you know, I go in through moods of having. Let's see here. That's 2. This one. Where I want to have spinach. I can go for a few months where I just get a kick and I just want spinach. It's about like anything else. I go through little kicks. There are some months that, you know, I'll go 2 or 3 months where I gotta have jalapenos on everything, and burritos, and then I'll go a few months where I just don't want to have that at all, and I'll go to pickles and like Italian meats. So I guess probably because I have it all the time, I get bored with it, and then it's ready to move on to something else for a while. Then I'll come back to it eventually. I always do. Blooming onions made at home with bacon fat. That does sound pretty good. Sun-dried tomato seasoned like chips. Yeah, my stepmom used to do that whenever I'd go down and visit my dad and them down in Mississippi when I was younger. Always had that, and that's where I think, you know, we had a garden down there every year when I'd go visit during the summer, and I kind of dig going out there. Now, they grew a lot of things that I didn't really care to eat, but did have fun helping get them growing and all that. So, oh, come on, Ring, what are you doing to me here? Just come on over. You don't need to flip. Oh, did I put you in there wrong? What did I do? Alright, I did something weird right there. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I did. Yeah, well, did I even do that? Talking and not paying attention, I guess, because yeah, I don't know why I put it through there when it shouldn't have been nowhere near there. That was weird. And connect to the other big one, not that one. That was a talking screw up. I will get a lot less of those when I'm just doing my chainmail, but when I start talking and mailing, sometimes I'll have some odder screw ups. Where are we at? Anyway, I need to look over here. A little over an hour already. Hour 7 minutes. Wow. Oh, I got another person on Twitch. Want to become famous? Buy followers. At least it doesn't happen too often, and he's not spamming. It's just the one. I do. It's still silly. No, I don't want to be famous. I never wanted to be famous. You know, you always grow up and I want to be a rock star. No, never wanted to be famous. Want to be me and just have fun. Well, let's see here. Maybe we can get in most of this before the stream is over. This row at least, hopefully. Yeah, blooming onions made with bacon fat. I know my daughter would love that. I'm not a huge onion fan per se. Some things I like them in, some things I just don't. Now I have tried. I do like onion rings at times. I have to be in the right mood for it, but I've never gone to one of those restaurants. I forget which one it is that does the bloomin' onions. I've never gone there and tried one though, so I don't know if I'd actually like it or not. And then, like I said, I'd have to be in the right mood for it. It's one of the onions, sometimes I love putting in things and then other times I don't. It's kind of like with the jalapenos. It's like sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. So it'd have to be the right time of the year, I think, that. One thing, though, I've never liked onions is my chili. I know a lot of people like onions in their chili, but I don't care for onions in my chili. I don't know why. I like them kind of in eggs. Hash browns are okay with onions. Those I could probably be alright all the time with. But then the other things, onion rings and whatnot, it just has to be the right time for it. And depending on where you get it. I mean, there's some good stuff made with onions and whatnots out there, and some that just totally blow. Alrighty. Now, let's see here. Let me... a little screwdriver. Can you give me a pull here? So, that's going to do that. Yeah, maybe I should have went through half of that row before on my tips and started shrinking it up early. I might have to go back and do that. We'll see. Get a little more further in here and we'll kind of see how that ends up working. I gotta give another shout out to Sean. He's hopefully gonna work up one of those other shirts and red flames for me for a t-shirt, I hope soon. I love the shirts that I already got, and I'm wanting to get a couple more, but I want to, for multi-day events, I want to get a couple so I can kind of wear similar shirts on those days. Hopefully he makes that up, but if you're looking at printed chainmail items, check out Mailworks and Sean over there. Does great stuff. I love it. He posted today, and I was like, I'm ready to order. I've had the red jersey in my cart for a while since I ordered my blue jersey one. I'm like, I want to do these t-shirts at the same time too, help save on some shipping, just to get it all done at once. It's like I need a red t-shirt one. You've got a pink, you've got a blue. I want a red. I want red and blue. So hopefully I can get that here soon. I'm thinking about the button-up shirt. Unsure yet, but still want to get a few of the puzzles. But yeah, I needed to get some new clothes, and why not make it chainmail styled? Let's see here. I might get one more in before I need to tie it into the frame. We'll see here. Let's see what it... Yeah, I'm probably going to have to go right on into the frame with this one. Hopefully it'll be somewhat tightish. Let's see here. Yeah, that actually worked out pretty well right there. You probably can't see it from there, but that's where I'm going to be putting it. Pull that one down tight. This one's a little... So yeah, I think that'll work. I think that will work. Gonna open it up big for this one. It's not going to be super tight, but that's where I'll tighten it up further in the middle when I get further down. But that's pulling it up there pretty decently. Especially once I get the bottom side done too. Oh man. Screwed that ring over. I knew I didn't have a good grip on it, but I was hoping for the best. Alright. go too far. That's the biggest problem with it. You don't want to over open it. Alright, now get on there. Getting these in are always kind of blurry. You got so much less room to work with. Tell you what, I'm going to grab my other set here. This will help. I should have anyway, just had them out and ready. Sometimes I try to push with one set of pliers where I should have just been using another set all along anyway. Alrighty, work on the bottom side now. Yeah, let's see how much time we got. Oh, we got 15 minutes. We can probably finish that up on this row. Then I'll just have that little center area right here to play up. By the time I come down, I'll probably stop right in here. So then I'll just have this little bitty gap area there. I'll try to hold off till next Monday, but I'm getting so close now I might want to finish it up. I guess it depends on if I move it out of the way soon enough, then I won't. Bigger problem is when it sits here and I don't move it out of the way to work on something else. Since it's here, it's what I'll end up working on. Now, if I work on an order, I guess that'll make me move it quicker. Well, and I do need to move it anyway, so I can, like I said, tomorrow I'm going to test out doing the anodizing setup and hopefully get a decent enough room and camera angles and all that good stuff. So that'll probably help keep me from it. I guess the biggest problem will be what I play with tonight before I put it up. But, you know, it depends on when I go to bed, I guess, too. I went to bed late last night, but I was kept working on the camera stuff, going, alright, I gotta get this ready. I would have had plenty enough time today to do it, I'm sure, but I was kind of worried about it, going, I don't want to spend all day trying to fix it and worry and get it ready for the stream tomorrow. And so when I got up this morning and did another quick test, I was like, well, yeah, I could have went to bed 3 hours earlier. Everything seems to be working out. It only would have taken 3 hours today to do it at the most. But, you know, it is what it is. I got 5 little notifications. I wonder what they're all for. I never look at them until I get done with my stream. I don't want it to preoccupy my time and take away from stream and weaving. Maybe it's questions. If you are posting questions to me in a PM, I will get to them as soon as my stream's over. Normally, one of the first things I do is check that stuff after a stream, and then email, and then it's time to feed and do the cat, get his shot in him, and then I'll come back and check some more. If there's any other questions or orders or whatever else I need to deal with. Don't have a lot of band website stuff to do right now because pretty much got it mostly squared away for the year, or at least the start of the year. That'll change once we get into, I guess on the 31st, they had asked me if I'd come do individual pictures and group pictures of them again, so I'll be doing that. One reason why I don't do that, I decided not to do Tuesday streams, is because Tuesday night they have practice every Tuesday night from 6:30 to 8:30, I believe. And a lot of Tuesdays I still go up there and film them so they got something they can look at after practice and see what they need to work on and all that. So, but they asked me if I'd come do pictures again this year, so I'm going to have to do that on Tuesday. So I will have a lot of my Tuesdays starting to get kind of full, and that's the same reason as Friday nights, because football game Fridays, and then some Saturdays I got war competitions this year, marching, or parades. I got 2 parades they're doing in October, so can't really do Saturday streams all that scheduled, so I try to pick the days that are less band filled for fall, even though we weren't in fall. But like I said, that can always change too. Off the top point of the moon, you're going to tangle a chain into the shadow area, the crystal, weave or the like. Yeah, I'm kind of unsure yet. I don't have a whole lot of crystals. I don't know if I've got any that I could really work into this. But once I get the mostly of the fill done, I'll start kind of playing around, because I got some little silver stars that I was thinking about doing a couple dangles like off of this, maybe a couple hanging here and a couple off the bottom. I'm unsure if I want to make. I think I would rather it just hang from like a point on the rim itself. I could do a chain that comes up, but I think it'd look better if it just, you find a good pivot point right there that you could do a hang on, and then have a couple chains coming off with some stars here. But up in here, I just don't know yet until I get a little further into it and get this all tightened up. I thought about it, but it's like most of my things. I think about it, but I just wait till I kind of get to that point before I finally make a decision. I need to find a good place where I can get me a better line of crystals. Like all your stuff is just freaking awesome. I've had a few. The reason I haven't ordered a whole lot, because the some that I got were just so crappy. They looked like crap. Wouldn't photograph worth nothing, and I ended up just not even turning them into pieces that I would end up selling, because I didn't like them. So I need to find a good place where I can get some. And like I said, I've got a few that are okay that I do have, but I just haven't done anything with them, because I hate doing something when I can only do a few things of it. One, because I've got so many more ideas, I want to have more I can do. Two, if it ends up being something that's cool and people like, I want to make sure I can redo it and not have to say, well, this is all I've got. And that does happen, though, when it comes to chainmail. There are some things that, this is what I made, especially the bigger it gets. Let's see here. 20. I can hopefully get this done. I'm hoping. I don't want to work too fast, but I would like to get this full row done so I can get it tightened up, see what she's going to look like. See, I'm in the middle, I'm going to have to tighten it up. Alright, let's go ahead. It's working out a little better than I thought it was at first with going smaller. I was kind of worried that I should have went a little smaller on the edges of the row before, but I think it's going to work out pretty decently. The more I keep playing here. Yeah, I should have plenty enough. I was like, I'm going to be getting low. I'm going to have to give me some more square purple small one, 3/16, because I'm going to get low, but I should have plenty enough to finish this up. Oh yeah, I use 5/32 square for JPL, so I don't really need them for that. Actually, those 3/16 squares are fairly new to me. Just been getting these here recently, trying to expand on the ring counts that I have. And I don't think they actually had it years ago. I think it's something they've kind of slowly been adding. Not quite sure when they added this size square. But it's like a lot of things, I'll end up, going around looking at places. Something they don't have, come back later, and there it is. Why did I close that one up? Dummy. Talking again. Talking and forgetting. I guess one thing when I'm talking to myself, I normally I'm talking to myself about what I'm doing. I guess that's in a way I'm doing it, but I'm trying to communicate with everybody else out there too. It's all good though. I enjoy it. So, we're starting to get close, so I'll kind of talk in case you're watching or you're catching it later. We'll be back on Wednesday. It's small project night, but I'm going to be doing some anodizing of some scales, some rings. I don't know exactly how long all that will necessarily take, so I'm kind of still playing it by ear, but I've got several different ball sizes I need to get done. I want to get anodized up, so we're going to do some of that. Hopefully I can get it to last at least an hour. Hopefully it'll last a little longer. Like I said, I'm going to do it without doing the multi-etch, since I'm going to be doing it all inside here, and I don't have a good setup for inside multi-etch yet. So they're not going to be, I don't want to say brighter, because in a way they are brighter when you don't use the multi-etch, but you get more color variation when you multi-etch. So, you know, I guess in my own opinion, I'm not sure if others that have done that work with it more than I do. You know, I do a little bit, but not a ton. But to me, it just seems like my colors are brighter when I don't multi-etch, but I don't get the color variation change as much as you can get like when you're going between two colors. If you multi-etch, you can get a lot more individual shades as you move than when you don't multi-etch. It's kind of like you're kind of here gold, you get a little change, then you'll flip to the next color fairly quickly. You get less in between change, but they seem duller. They don't look bad though, don't get me wrong, they still look good. It just, in my own opinion, that's what it seems like to me. And you know, I try to follow the people that do a lot of titanium and whatnot etching, just to learn and stuff I can try. I don't really, you know, remember hearing about that kind of thing per se. Nobody's really ever said anything like that I can remember. Just kind of what I've noticed in the times that I do it. Normally I do most of my multi-etch times is spring and fall, just because I can do it outside easier. Like I said, I will need to get a setup inside that I can do it, and have some exhaust, and I kind of have a halfway set up already. I just need to tie it into all my laser equipment. So, and I probably would have gotten close to it, but wood got so freaking expensive here recently that I don't want to buy anything wood related almost anymore, just because it's so expensive. I haven't been in the last month, so I don't know if it's dropped down any here recently, in the early recent, but I mean, I went to buy some plywood one day and I ended up not buying it because it was so darn expensive. I was like, what's going on here? And then that's when I started reading and seeing that wood prices have gone up, and I was like, well, one day price gets back down to a little, at least, you know, more reasonable than what it was. I ended up still getting me a half-inch sheet, full 8x4 sheet of half-inch MDF, because there were some things I just had to have that for the laser. I just didn't have. I got some extra, but I don't think I have enough extra of it, and I'd rather use plywood than the MDF for that, for my box to do my multi-etch exhaust. But I don't know, maybe I'll end up doing it that way just because it's currently what I have. Let's see here. So we can go probably in those 3 more. But we're at 27, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put in 3 more and we'll call it quits for the night. I want to thank everybody that's watched, that drops in. John, glad to have you again tonight. My mouse happened to hit right where your name is, so I've got a pop-up now. Rebuilding houses from world destruction of numerous kinds made a demand spike. Well, yeah. That's what I was kind of reading, but it was just like, yeah, I can't spend that kind of money on it right now. It's one reason I ended up deciding on going with the garage. Is going to end up being a metal garage. I mean, they make decent ones out of that. I would rather have a wooden one, but the prices on those just went up like, yeah, that ain't going to happen. If I get in the garage anytime soon, it's going to have to be one of the metal ones. And there are pluses and minuses to having a wooden garage or a metal garage, so it's about like anything. I'll take the bad that comes with it per se, but I think for the size I want and everything, and I mean they still hold up to all kinds of winds and weather, so it'll be harder to keep cool in heated, but I screw up again on that. Oh, yeah. That one should have been pulling over the other side. Dummy. I'm a big old dummy. It's coming back down. 3D's is going up. Yeah, I want me a 3D printed house. Actually, it probably wouldn't be a bad old thing. I mean, I've watched some of the videos of them being, and they're getting better all the time. I do like my 3D printer. I have fun with it. It ain't gonna print me a house. I guess I could print a SpongeBob house. Which actually I've been thinking about doing. My daughter's got this cactus she got from a neighbor that moved. And she's like, what am I gonna do with a cactus? And it's still in the original container that they bought the cactus in. And I was like, you know, we should just print up a SpongeBob house planter and plant your cactus in that. Alright, so one more right there. Hopefully we can make it fit. But again, I want to thank everybody for stopping in, checking us out, see what's going on. Check out the Facebook page. Get sure you subscribe and like. Find us over on Twitch and YouTube. All that good stuff. More the merrier. Still trying to get to that 300 likes on the Facebook page so we can start doing some giveaways. I think we're down to 20 now, needing 20. Up to 280 total last time I checked. Get one or two here and there, so it's all good, but definitely get out there, share us, get people to come over, give us likes, and start having some giveaways and start growing. And again, we are on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursday nights, 7:30 Central Time. Every night we try to do a little something different per se. Mondays, medium project. Wednesdays are small projects, something we try to finish up within the stream limits. And then Thursdays is large project night, so something that could take a little while to complete. Most things haven't taken too long, but just trying to switch it up, give some funness and all that. So closing up this last ring here, and we'll be getting closer and closer to being done. So it's starting to look pretty good. It's got a little bit of hang there, but that'll all stretch when I come together smaller here for putting this in. Kind of wonder if maybe I should just do some rays that come out. I mean, the moon doesn't look like rays, but I don't know. I might have to do a few like every other one and see how it looks, and then decide on from there. But just coming together. I'm digging it. Much better than I liked it after last Monday. So again, thanks for everybody that's dropped in, and we're going to go ahead and call it quits for tonight, and we will be back on Wednesday night at 7:30. So I hope you all have a good week, and or at least a good tonight and Tuesday, and we'll see you Wednesday and see how things are going midweek. So y'all have a good night, and we'll see you later.